involve this one, and it would be more relevant if you're a recent undergraduate student and you know you have some loans that were taken out at that time. So what loans do I have for school? This website, the National Student Loan Data System, is an excellent resource for you now and a few years from now. So you'll want to log into that website fairly soon. For students who will have new loans dispersing this year, give it about 6 weeks before you would log in for the information to be available to you. The second question is, how would you defer any current loan payments while you're in graduate school? And first of all, you'd want to know who could be your loan servicer. And if you flip the handout over to the reverse side, these are the 10 authorized loan servicers used by the U.S. Department of Education. So if you receive an email that looks a little strange to you, take note of from whom it has sent it, because it could be your loan servicer contacting you in about 6 weeks to acknowledge that you have a loan, and they want to get services for you. The third and possible question that you may want to pursue is when will, the next question is, how would you defer your current loan? First of all, we have our loan servicers, and then the second item would be on the third page. Unfortunately, we do not subscribe to the National Clearinghouse, where all loans are reported automatically when you enroll in a graduate program. So you would want to take it upon yourself if you would like to push off current repayments on loans that you have from your undergraduate studies, or even a former graduate loan. You can start the process by contacting your loan servicer first, because some of them will want very specific kinds of information from Northwestern University. And once you know what that information is, then you would file this form with our registrar's office. And you can see from the form that you can ask for something as simple as to fax something to the loan servicer, or they might want actually a letter from Northwest with information about your enrollment. So let's see, that's my third question, or second. And then when are disbursements of financial aid going to occur? We used to do them after 2 weeks into the semester. We're taking a risk this year and trying to do it within the first week of the semester. So that would be approximately around the 14th of September will be the disbursements. If you're expecting that you may have a refund because you've taken out more than needed to cover your tuition, then that would be processed probably the second week. And checks are done on Thursdays here, so we are being optimistic that could be around the 21st. Refund checks are typically mailed to you unless you call student accounts and make another arrangement to pick it up right here on campus. And if you do pick up, you can do that in the Davis building on the first floor at the cashier's window. She's open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then finally, when should I reapply for my financial aid? And basically, as soon as you have your 2012 tax information compiled, you are ready to do next year's FAFSA, which would be the one for 2013-14, but you can comfortably wait until June if you need to in order to file. Okay. Does anyone have any questions that might have also come up as you were looking over your own award letter packet? Okay. So that's all I have to say, and thank you very much. Enjoy your evening. It's a beautiful evening.
Thank you. Well, as you all know, increasingly technology is something that makes the educational world go in the world in which we live, and no one is better positioned to talk to us about that than Lynette Sorensen, who is a great support and resource to faculty here at Northwest, but we'll have some really great things to say to you for a few moments about accessing technology here at Northwest. Lynette, please.
Great. First of all, you have a little postcard in your packet. If you are bringing a computer, a laptop to campus and want to get on the wireless network, here is the password. It's Northwest U, capital N, capital U. So use this if you are, when you are ready to do that. How many of you are already familiar with Discovery and all that means? Okay, a few of you. Obviously, you've taken a few classes already, but I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis of what is in Discovery. And if you have any questions, let me know. I think I'm standing right in the way for some of you. But I can't pull this away too much further because the cords. Oh, let's go this way. Is that better or worse? Depends on who you are.
It's worse for me.
Okay.
John didn't
The guy
have
in
to
the
Doesn't
back.
matter though.
Right, okay, so, when you log in to Discovery, how many of you have never logged into Discovery? Let's start there. One, so let's go back to Eagle. Eagle.northwestview.edu is your headquarters for everything that you need to know as a student. So you're just gonna click on Discovery. If you're gonna get to email, you probably already know to go here to email, but I'm gonna click on Discovery. And then it's going to ask me to log in if I haven't. So you'd use your NU username and password. You will have a list of courses. The first time you log in, you will have a list of folders. Just so, and all of you know that. The second time you log in, you will see your courses that you have enrolled in. You also see a course that you probably wonder why is it there, and it's called Discovery Student Resources. Faculty get to the instructional resources. So this Discovery Student Resources, I just updated it. If you've been in it recently, it's pretty old, but I just worked on updating it this morning, today, and we'll be adding more content. But this will help you as a student. Whenever you are a student, whenever you're learning something new, my theory is, if it takes you longer than 10 minutes to discover what you want, especially in regards to technology, ask for help. First of all, ask from your fellow students, from your professor, and then there's that email that maybe some of you have already emailed. Can you imagine what it would be? help@northwestview.edu. That is your resource for all technology knowledge. Just to let you know though, if it's something to do with the content inside of Discovery, so it's about an assignment, it's about the syllabus, your professor is the best person to answer that question. We cannot answer those questions. We'll refer you back to your faculty, your professor. But if it's about getting into Discovery, about anything to do with technology, help@northwestview is the best place to go. So Discovery Student Resources, it talks about the different kinds of assignments. It talks about Turnitin assignments, which is the 5th type of assignment that we now have, and that's actually will give you an originality report comparing your work with other student papers, with the internet, with journals, etc. So you get a report back, and also your professors, if they're using Turnitin assignment type, can use the grade mark part of Turnitin and add comments to your paper, and then you would be able to see their comments as well as your paper and how it came out. So I do have 2 videos here. One is called How to Submit Assignments, and the other one is called How to View the Report. So if you're stuck on how to even submit an assignment, although I'm going to show you in a second how to do that, those videos will be helpful to you. Checking grades, and you know what, I'm not going to go through this anymore because you can go through this course at any time that you want to, and at any time you need help. But I'm going to show you, first of all, we're going to go to Motivation, Coaching, and Mentoring. It's an old class that Dr. Ehler has taught. It's still open to students. So I just want to show you a few things. The course syllabus. Hopefully your professors are using a PDF format to upload their syllabus and other things, because it's much easier to open a PDF. So you just click right there and the syllabus is there. So if it was a Word document, it's a little bit harder, so you have to click on a few things to get there. I see some shaking heads that they've been through that pain. So we can see here that there are some resources that the professor has added, and you can look in your main part of your course, or you can just click on resources. And you can see that there are some resources right there. We're going to go back to the main page. Sorry this is so small, you're not seeing very much of it. So there's some assignments here. And assignments, if it just says assignments, it means it's not going to turn it in. So it's a little bit different process of submitting assignments. So to submit an assignment for an advanced uploading of files, whoops, you know what, I didn't check on this before. And you know what, I cannot really do that because I'm not in as an assignment. but it's a very easy just to submit that assignment. It's a little bit trickier with turning in, and I can show you that in a second. There's also some offline assignments which you do not have to upload. That's just a placeholder for the gradebook, so that if there's a presentation or something that is turned in class, it will be called an offline assignment. Nothing to do in Discovery. You won't have a place to submit. These are advanced uploading of files, and the professor may have put that in as an advanced uploading. Number one, because they want you to be able to submit more than once. So that allows you, according to how they've set it up, to submit a paper more than once. Maybe it's a draft, maybe it's the final. It also allows them to save it into Word, your paper into Word, and then use the comment feature in Word to return it to you. And if they've done that, there'll be a place, and again, I can't show you this without showing you some student work, but there'll be a place that if you click on assignments when you're logged in, you'll be able to see your paper that you submitted and then the paper that the student downloaded for you with their comments. Okay, and that's all there by, if you click on assignments, you would be able to see that. Okay? We're going to go to Turnitin assignments, but we're going to go to a different class. So no, we're going to stay here.
I could create one real quick, or you could.
You could. You know what, I think I have it. So I am now in an online class. How many of you are going to take one or more online class? So things look a little bit different in the online class, of course, because all the content has to be there. And I chose a class that's called Urban Studies. I logged in here as a student that is not really a student, so you can see some things I'll be able to show you. So I'm going to go into the list of participants in the class, and I hope my student is here. They're going to be down at the bottom of the second page. You're seeing the inside of Discovery, which, oh, they're not here. Oh, no. No. They're not here. Do you know what? I can show you now. So, and there's no Turnitin assignments here. Oh, sorry about that. So for this one, we're going to go back here. So we're back to Alan's class. And you can see that there's a paper that is a Turnitin paper. And when you get here as a student, you will see the summary and you'll see the submission inbox. Okay, so you'll have only two tabs there. You're going to click the submission inbox. This right here tells you the due date and the post date for the assignment, so you'll know when it's due. After that due date, you may or may not be able to submit a paper depending on how it's been set up by your professor, but you will go to the submission inbox. And we're looking at everybody's, oh, so I am this, oh, let's go back. I saw everybody does something.
Sorry about that one.
That's okay. Here's my student that I wanted to log in as. So I'm going to do that. Okay, now I'm here as a student. And there's a Turnitin assignment, and it's right here. So as I just said, you see the summary, that's the due date. The post date is when you will see the grade. It could be different than the due date. And now you're going to click on My Submissions when you're ready to submit. You're going to name your paper, and you're going to choose File. And then you're going to go to your computer, as you always do with this type of thing, and find that file. And notice this is a Turnitin assignment, so, and you can't see it, but it says by checking this box, I confirm that this work is my own. So that's saying, you know what, I'm submitting this work, it has my name on it, and it truly is my work. And so that's just confirming that it is. And then you're going to add submission, and it's going to be sent to Turnitin. The report takes a while to come back. It depends on what the submission post date is when you will see things. But it's just fairly easy is to find the submission tab or to find the upload button and then click and upload where you turn it. Any questions? I know I've gone over this quickly and you can't see it very well because of the small screen. Anything that the students that have graduated, gone through the program, any recommendations you would have for the students here? Yes,
I would say sit down with somebody first semester and go over it. Because at least for me, especially with computers, Dr. Folsom can attest, They don't like me, and unless I sit down at a keyboard and work through it, Lynette can talk all night, and
Yes,
it's just,
exactly.
it's not gonna sink in. So find somebody that's in the program, sit down, walk through it, and get familiar with it, because it is essential.
Or go to Discovery Student Resources and go through that, because that has everything that you need to know as a new student.
On
Discovery.
turn it in, what's the threshold that would state that it's not your work? Because I know turn it in is sort of a dumb engine in that it looks at all your footnotes and things.
It may not.
These are.
That can be excluded.
Okay.
It will color them actually by different sources when we see it as a professor, and we can tell. And if you cited your sources, that's fine. Where we look for trouble is when it comes back 80% unoriginal
Big
work, a
sentences.
single source from somebody who wrote another paper at another school someplace, and we're like, yeah, somebody's been mining the internet instead of doing their own
So
work.
it's 80% the threshold.
If it's 15% unsighted and it's like one paragraph that's direct verbatim with something, then that's a flag. So
It's a nice color coding that you would see, or your professor would see, telling you where the information came from, exactly the website it came from, for instance, or that it's from a student paper at another university. So it just depends on what you put into your paper. If it's a common, if you're working on the same paper, of course, you're all gonna have the same common start, for instance. So my thinking is maybe 30% is not even an issue. It depends on what it is, though.
Right.
If it's a whole, if it's 2 paragraphs that are totally copied and that's all yeah.
Yeah, it's really a judgment call from a professor's standpoint.
Yeah, it is.
Because really all turn it in is for us is, it's kind of a flag to let us know whether we need to take a closer look or not. Because like I teach a class where my students write wedding scripts. Well, they're pretty high on the turn it in score, because if you type in, dearly beloved, we are gathered here. You take this woman, and so you can have an 85% on one of those and it works, and it's fine. But technically, 4 words copied directly from somebody else that aren't cited is plagiarism, right? So, it's possible you could have 2% and still have plagiarism in your paper. So, I guess I wanted to hear it's okay to plagiarize up to 30%.
No, that's true.
It's like for the professors, it's always a judgment call, and it's just, it's kind of a take a closer look. The number's high, take a closer look. And as a student, you can sometimes see your own scores, right? And so if you see your own score and it's 30%, it's probably not a bad idea to go take a closer look and go, oh wow, make sure I didn't accidentally fail to cite my source, because.
So citing your source is the most important, because if you cited your source, then your professor can remove that from the turn-it-in report, and then you're fine.
The other thing is overquoting the Bible. Sometimes I have 50%, so that's just, you're quoting too much. So, show your own work. So you say, well, it was all my work behind it.
And Ron may address this. Some people went to maybe undergrad schools where you were encouraged to quote from a lot of sources, a lot of direct quotations. And in higher ed, usually references are abbreviated and summarized unless there's a compelling reason to use the exact wording. So 30% is probably too high unless there's some specific reason for that.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that, Ron? And what do you find? Is that similar in your course?
That's actually the number that I tend to work with, but again, it's like John said, it's a case by case basis.
And just because it's 30% even, that doesn't mean that that whole 30% is truly plagiarized either. So that's what your professor has to deal with.
30% of direct quotation would simply say, even your writing style, even though you're not plagiarizing, your writing style, you should be using more of your own words, referencing, footnoting, but not direct quote.
Some of you will also have forums that are part of your class, and so, where am I now? I'm logged in as myself. I am in your old class. So this is there's just one in this class, and so you would click on, for instance, again, I'm showing you students' names, but you probably would have to
Could add a new discussion topic like this.
Yep, add a new discussion topic, or you could go into one of these discussion topics and reply to your classmates. So it depends on, you'll have information up here on how to deal with that. Some of your courses may also have online quizzes, and that's usually a time, usually have a starting time, and a time when it opens, a time when it closes, and then you'll have maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever the quiz itself is timed. And so you can choose when to take it usually and have to watch the time. Any other questions? Yeah, remember, you don't need to know everything at the very beginning, but you do need to remember if you're spending too much time trying to figure something out, then ask for help. Send an email to help, send an email to your professor, to one of your classmates who know more than you, maybe have the same question. Some of the courses also have ask a question form so that you can ask a question of your professor. So, great. Very nice to be with you tonight, and I think, I'm not sure what needs to get next.
Thank you. Most of you have already gotten to know Rhonda Dormeyer. If not, you will come to appreciate her greatly. She makes everything happen in College of Ministry Graduate Studies. And I'm going to have her come up now and give you some of the administrative details that are involved in just making a great experience. Thank you, Rhonda, for all you do.
Everybody will take your packet, who has a packet. I feel like I'm in church, open your hymnal, the share my On the right-hand side of this packet are things that I'm going to just kind of briefly go over with you. On the left-hand side, you'll cover that material when you're in your breakout session. So, I want you to pull out this, just so you have it in hand. This is your parking pass. You're very fortunate in the College of Ministry that you do not have to pay for parking. That's partially because of the way your classes are set up. It's a $75 savings. So, fill this out, put it on your dashboard every time you're here, and you won't be ticketed. So, it's just, if you lose it, let me know. I don't want anybody taking it. There's a card in here for the library. For those of you who have not been to the library, it's just down the hill. There's a map in here that shows you where every building is on campus. And for those of you in the Missional Leadership Program, most of our classes now are meeting in the 6710 building. So if on the back side of the campus map, you'll find the 6710, and it's right across from Starbucks. So that's your queue locator. Well, we have a distinguished guest right here. Sitting right over there. Jeff is a graduate of the Missional Leadership Program, and I think, don't you also have a little blurb on the website?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So, he's our famous student here tonight. But the very most important thing in your packet, I'm going to have you take it out, is this. It's the website that our particular department has. Everything that you ever need is here. And oftentimes I'll get a phone call, what date is this class meeting, or whatever, and generally I will send an email back and say, most of the time I'm nice, and I'll tell you the answer, but I'll say, did you know that if you click on the link below my name, it takes you right to the website, and things are there. It tells you how to register. It tells you about every professor you'll ever have. It's the courses. I'm getting a smile over here because he knows he doesn't follow the rules.
I don't call every day.
No, we do have my favorites who don't like to look on the website, so I do like to help you. But it would be really good because it's beneficial. That's the most important thing that you'll hear in this room tonight, is that we have our own website. Okay, that's all I have to say. I'm here at your service. I love it when you call. I'm usually the mom of the group. I'm the one that sends you reminders, be sure you register, be sure you whatever. So, you know where to find me.
Just to mention, you may be aware, those of you who come in from out of the region, there is a bed and breakfast deal available here in the dormitory. And information is available there on the link as well for that.
Green sheet in the packet.
So that.
And if you eventually start to refer to Rhonda as mom, that's quite normal.
And you're also welcome to eat in the cafeteria, and so the caf is one who catered our event there, and it's doing very well, served food well. And for MAML students in particular, on Wednesdays, it's just, what, $2.50 for lunch, so keep in mind. Yeah, you want to take just a minute, briefly introduce yourself, so everybody in the room gets a chance to meet everybody, and if you're a student, let us know what program you're in and maybe where your hometown is. And if you're not a student, let us know what your role is so we can have a chance to get to know everybody. You got to know me, I'm Alan Ehler, and I teach here, and here's Rhonda. And so, John, why don't you kick us off?
Sure, I'm John Banks. I'm a faculty member here at Northwestern University. My primary role is to be the leader of our LEAP undergraduate adult ministry program. And so, but I also teach classes in both the MAML program. I've got 2 online courses coming up, the leadership and character formation and conflict management and team building. And then I oversee in the MIM program the contextual education aspect of the program. So.
Good job.
Can you just break in? We've got 2 props here on break. So particularly for MATC students who will be taking language classes, Dr. Carrie Brodeen teaches Greek, and Dr. Bob Stallman teaches Hebrew. And so if you just want to say a word of hello or that type of thing, we're glad you could drop in. They've already started their undergrad teaching tonight. So.
Shalom.
Oh, wait, no.
That's his language, but I'm actually not teaching tonight. I'm auditing Dr. Stallman's Hebrew class, and I'm learning a lot already. So, but greetings, we're glad to have you.
Yeah, so I'm actually teaching a Hebrew class tonight, and we're doing undergraduate and graduate students together, and so this is the undergraduate night, but 2 weeks from now everybody will be together, so I'm looking forward to that. So they're getting a jump on me. So, but they're doing great. I also teach a couple of other classes, such as entering the biblical narrative in the MATC program, which is always a delight. So that's good to see.
Thank you. Great. Thank you both.
I'm Trevor Janish. I am in the MAML program. I currently pastor in Lake Stevens Family Church, where Dr. Ayers is our branch overseer there. That's through the Cedar Park Cathedral system. I moved here from Minnesota strictly for schooling. I moved out here because of this program. So I've had 3 courses. I'm going into my 4th course starting here in September. So enjoying everything about it.
Cool. Jeff Dushman on staff at Bethany Christian Assembly in Everett, and live in Lake Stevens, not too far from the Ironic Wing Pastors, and entered the MAML program back in the fall of 2008 when it just kicked off, and then graduated in May of 2011. So had a great experience, loved it, and so really benefited from it. So it was awesome.
Larry Garza, Bethel Spanish Assembly pastor there in Othello, Washington. I'm also part of the MAML program, and it's a joy to be here.
Kelvin Gear, student starting in the MAML program. I live in Issaquah, Washington. Just graduated here at Northwest undergrad, so I'm probably one of the youngest ones here. And I work on the facilities team at Easter's Church.
Hi, my name is Mary Garza. I'm Mr. Garza's wife of this city.
I'm Jennifer Polisero. I'm just starting the MAML program, my first class in a couple weeks. My family and I, we live in the Furs apartments here on campus. We just moved here on June 29th from Rochester, Minnesota.
Wow.
And my husband and I are active in the youth ministry at Kenmore Community Church.
David Brecke, pastor at Maltby and MATC program, finishing up second semester, getting ready to start the third, enjoying it very much.
Well, I'm just with him.
No jokes about it.
I'm Sherry, yeah.
And you already know I'm Ron Herms, lead the